I want to thank you for choosing In My Shoes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A few things that we need to flesh out. First, I'm Hilda Broady, and I'm your host. We're going to talk about what this show is, who we are, and what we're about. We don't give you sound bites. We don't touch over and brush over, and we ran out of time. If we run out of time, we're going on to the next show. We'll keep addressing a topic until we rip it apart, and then we come up with solutions. We try to come up with viable solutions. We will not only be addressing topics that are of interest to me so that you're in my shoes, but also the topics that are the guests have topics that need to be addressed, and we'd like our audience to contact me at queenpin, QUEENPIN 53 at yahoo.com and let me know some topics that you'd like for us to discuss, address, and come up with viable solutions. Because it's not only about talking the talk, but it's also about coming up with a solution. Because sometimes it's right on the tip of your tongue and you can't come up with it and you say, oh, I should have done that. Or sometimes it's so far reached that you think that it's hopeless and it's not. We'll put our heads together and we'll come up with that solution. So don't feel shy. Send me an email. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm your host, Hilda K. Broady. In My Shoes is the concept is to not only address problems that are throughout our community, but also to come up with viable solutions. Today's issue is a personal issue of mine. Even though In My Shoes is not always going to be about In My Shoes, I've been having some difficulty with traffic enforcement and the New York City Police Department. Okay, let me just read you something that I got off the DOT website. It's about curb cuts and T intersections. First, a T intersection is when two streets intersect but do not cross. So that do not cross. So the top of the T is considered to be the major street, and the stem of the T is the minor street. Okay. Now, this is what the new rule is. Effective December 2008, the New York City traffic rules have been modified to allow parking at some T intersections, those without traffic signals or all-way stop signs or crosswalk markings. These locations have caused confusion in the past as they are not clearly delineated as spaces for pedestrians or cars. The rule change has enabled the department to put them in the category appropriate for each location, making it clearer for motorists, pedestrians, and enforcement agents. Parking is now permitted in those T intersections where the adjacent major street is not marked with a crosswalk and not controlled by all-way stop signs or traffic signals, even if there is a curb cut at that location. Now, my issue is I've been getting these tickets, 38 of them to be exact, since 2011, almost 3 years after the law was changed. Mind you, I've spoken to the traffic enforcement agent, I've spoken to the police, and they say I'm still parked in a pedestrian curb cut, and they continue to ticket my vehicle. Now, I've gotten 38 tickets since September 18th, 2011. So, what do you do in this situation? Well, you go to the Bronx Center and you contest the ticket, which I did, and everyone was dismissed based on the videos that I took showing that I was at the T intersection and that there were no stop signs, there was no crosswalks, there was no kind of traffic enforcement there. But do you continue spending your life at the Bronx Center? I've told the people at the Bronx Center, I don't want to know your grandchildren's name. I don't want to know your name. If I know that, then I've been here too frequently. Okay, so my next step was to, after speaking to the officers, I wrote a letter to the Department of Finance because that's who you pay your fines to. And I figure, well, if you get the money, you're the people that we need to have address this issue. And they sent me back a letter saying, well, we expedited your tickets. We're not the people that you write to about having enforcement stop them. You need to write to the enforcers. So I then wrote a letter. At the time, it was Police Commissioner Kelly, because this was in 2013. See, it had been going on for almost 2 years. And I wrote him a letter, and I put the violations that I had gotten thus far, and there were 16 of them at that time, from 2011 through May 16, 2013. I listed the violations, the date they were issued, the date they were dismissed, and the new regulations to him, and it fell on blind eyes. I CC'd the precinct commander, and I CC'd the traffic enforcement commander for traffic 201, that command. Nobody chose to answer. Okay, so what do you do if you continue? After I wrote the letters, by the way, I got 18 more tickets. No, I got 18. 18. I had 16, and now I have 38. So I've gotten a considerable number of tickets, and then I'm not sure if they're ticketing me because I complained. As you may recall, I was an official candidate for mayor in 2013, and I even addressed it with the policemen who were outside my house. They weren't ticketing, but I said, "Are you one of the guys that's ticketing my car?" And I could be your next boss. You need to actually learn the rules. That's all I'm asking, is that you learn the rules. Okay, I met a guy named Mr. Gonzalez, who was familiar with the new precinct commander. So he said, well, no, she is willing to hear what people say. Just give her a call, and I'm sure that this can be resolved. Because I'm saying now I'm going to sue. Now I'm going to sue because I think that the only thing people seem to understand is a lawsuit. Okay, so I called the precinct commander. I left a voicemail message, and the community affairs officer called me and said, we weren't aware that this was a problem. So I said, well, I sent the letter last year, and I sent a certified return receipt, and I have the receipt. Well, I can assure you we're going to put, how many tickets did you get? And at the time, it had been 32. I said, I have so many tickets that I can almost wallpaper my walls with the envelopes and the tickets, because I make copies of the tickets. I didn't initially make copies of the tickets, but after a while you start thinking you need to have proof, okay? He says, I can assure you we're going to put a sign in the muster room. And then when I said how many tickets I had, he said, we're going to put 2 signs in the muster room so that the officers will know not to ticket the vehicles that are parked on your block in those particular spots, because it's 2 spots. And I said, oh, okay. He said, and I can assure you that no police officer from the 52nd Precinct is going to ticket your vehicle. I can't really speak for the Traffic Enforcement Department of Transportation, but I'll have somebody from Traffic Enforcement contact you. In the meantime, I got another ticket 2 days later. So I went down and filed a personal injury complaint, because you're injuring me now. You're causing me to have to go down to the Bronx Center and sit in the I mean, they're very pleasant people, and that's not the issue. The issue is, why am I there? If I'm parked legally, why am I getting all of these violations? And let me explain. Each violation is $165. $165. Okay, so I filed the complaint, and subsequently the transportation person called me. Not a very nice person. Unfortunately, I didn't get his name, but he was saying things like, well, you're parked in the curb cut. And I'm saying, but it's a T intersection. And he said, well, who did you write to? So I said, I wrote to Commissioner Kelly, who was our commissioner at the time, the police commissioner at the time. I wrote to the precinct commander, and I wrote to the traffic enforcement commander for Section 201. Okay. He says, oh, you wrote to the wrong people. You need to write to One Police Plaza to the transportation, the person who's in charge of transportation, whose name he didn't give me. Okay, and I said, I'm not spending another dime writing to anybody. I filed my complaint. I'm filing the lawsuit, and that's how we're going to resolve this, because perhaps, maybe, if the lawsuit is filed and the backlash goes to when we get the trickle down effect of you need to stop breaking the law. I went on the internet just to see if it was just me, because I was beginning to get a little paranoid. Are they targeting me? Because I have two vehicles. Are they targeting me and my vehicles? So I went on, and if you go to the internet, just Yahoo or Google, and you type in T intersection violation, they have a blog about the scam of the tickets, because some people are actually paying $165 because they're not aware, or they don't have the time to the Bronx Center or any center, because it's not only, I'm sure it's not only happening in the Bronx. It's just I'm in the Bronx, and it's really bothering me. Okay, so people are paying the tickets, and they're calling it a scam because it's any way to make money for the city. Okay, I do have copies of every one of my decisions. I mean, I've had some of the judges 2 and 3 times, and they're saying, "Oh, you're back. How you doing?" I mean, when it gets that familiar, you begin to wonder, well, what's going to happen? Okay, so I said I filed a lawsuit. Okay, they don't call it a lawsuit. They call it a personal injury claim. You can't just, that's the other thing. If you're suing the city, you can't just go and to Bronx Criminal Court or Bronx Civil Court and say, I want to sue the city, and you fill out paperwork and you sue the city. No, you have to go down to the comptroller's office and file a personal injury complaint first. Okay, then they send you a letter and you get a hearing. And I recently had my hearing, which is no easy feat, because I'm saying you ticketed my vehicles, and the person who was heading up the hearing, even though I had the documentation that I have now about that, I read about the parking rules, had a copy, I gave it to them, I had filed it with my suit. They're looking at the fact that I have disabilities and I have a parking permit. This has nothing to do with my disabilities or my parking permit, although I began to think that the police department was just targeting me because I was disabled. Because you wonder, why they keep ticketing my car? Why do they keep ticketing my car? Maybe because I'm always parking there, but don't tell me. I mean, I even had one judge tell me, well, don't park there. Well, it's right outside my house. So you're telling me to park a block away or 2 blocks away, and there's a spot right in front of my house that's legal. Okay, so the hearing officer, it took me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to get him to understand that where I was parked was legal. I wasn't blocking a pedestrian crosswalk because that's not designated as a pedestrian crosswalk. There's a curb cut there, but it's not considered a pedestrian crosswalk as per December 2008. It is now 2014. How long will this stuff continue? I even specified that I've been at other curb cuts in T intersections in the Bronx, on Bronxdale Avenue, between Morris Park and Van Ness, no tickets. So it's something with the 52nd precinct. I don't know if they're not making their quotas, T command 201. That's traffic command 201. They need to make their quotas because I even got a ticket 4 a.m. Christmas morning. So they're just, I don't know if they're just bored or they're trying to meet their quota, but I'm just not the one. So I've talked about the tickets and I kind of gave you an idea of what's been transpiring with this issue with me. And now I said, okay, that's the complaint, but this is not a pity party. Okay, and I said it at the hearing. I said, I'm going to discuss this on my TV show because I know now that it can't just be me that it's happening to. So what do you do when you get a ticket and it's subsequently dismissed for whatever reason? Because I've had a couple of other tickets dismissed because they were erroneously written or the cameras were placed in the wrong place, and I was in a bus lane on Fordham Road, and you, the rule is, if you don't know, if you're driving in a bus lane, if you go more than 200 feet without making a right turn, that's a $115 ticket. Okay. They have cameras. We'll have all the designated bus lanes. It's about making money for the city. Okay, but if you're on Fordham Road at 3:41 in the afternoon going west, and you're trying to get from Webster Avenue to Bainbridge to make a right turn, or to make that right turn on Kingsbridge, you can't bob and weave in and out of traffic to get from the left lane to the right lane like that. You can't do it. Somebody is going to get hurt. Okay, so I chose to ride up so that I can make my right turn without causing myself injury or causing someone else injury. The other scam that they're doing with that is this incident occurred March 26th of 2014. Okay, I didn't get the ticket in the mail with the photograph of my car in the bus lane until May. Okay, fortunately, I don't drive on Fordham Road that frequently, and I try never to be on Fordham Road during rush hour or when school is just getting out. But I happened to be going, remember exactly where I was going and what I was doing that day because the frequency is so limited for me. So I could actually say under oath, I was trying to get up to Kingsbridge Road. I said, and if I tried to get to the left lane and then move into the right lane, I'd have got hurt, and I'm not willing to get hurt. And you need to reposition those cameras or fix that or do something because there are going to be injuries caused. Now, what is the solution to this problem that I think is epidemic with traffic agents and the police department issuing tickets, violations to people who haven't violated anything except being in the city? Okay. I'm not saying that traffic enforcement agents and the police department should not do their jobs. I'm saying please do your job correctly. Do it correctly. Don't make a victim out of someone who's just trying to park their car. Okay, so my solution is, you ready? That $165 for that violation, you made that mistake, you issued that violation, you pay the fine. I bet you won't make the mistake again. So, think about it. $165, that's a fine for them now. So you make a mistake, you're causing somebody problems where they have to take time out of their life, spend money for transportation to go down to whatever center to fight it, then you pay the fine. Then the issuing officer, whether it's a police officer or a traffic enforcement agent, gets to pay the fine. What do you think? You think they'll stop? I'm hoping that they will. The city won't lose any money because they're still going to get their fine. but at least they will be accurate with the enforcement of the rules. I want to thank you for hearing me. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. And that's it. This is not a pity party. What do you think? You can get to me at queenpin53@yahoo.com. Tell me what you think about that solution. From time to time, we're going to be addressing issues that are or problems that I've been having. So it is going to be in my shoes. But I would like our audience to understand that we want to really be in your shoes. So when my guests come on, I won't introduce them with a whole long resume. I want them to discuss who they are and what their concepts are, because I want it to be accurate, and I want you to feel the passion of the people who come to us and say, I understand what the problem was that you were trying to address, and I have some viable solutions for you. I want our audience to feel free to contact me at my email, queenpin53@yahoo.com, if you have problems that you want us to address. And who am I to say that I have all of the answers? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me anyway. Yes, my name is Hilda K. Broady. I was an official candidate for mayor last year, Hilda Kathy Broady Fernandez. Fernandez is my mom's maiden name, and I promised her that if I ever ran for anything, I would put the Fernandez back into things, so that's where the Fernandez came from. I have a master's degree from Fordham University in education. I have a certificate in education research and development, as well as grant writing. I completed the reentry and prevention course offered by the Bronx Clergy Roundtable. I am presently at KSAC-T. KSAC is Credentialed Alcohol and Substance Abuse Counselor. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor and a vocational rehabilitation counselor. I worked for the state of New York for 29.5 years as a vocational rehabilitation counselor. I have experience working as a private school, proprietary school, licensed proprietary school director. I was at a Garrison Training and Placement, which was an automatic transmission technician training facility, which we hoped would help our community to our kids and or people who had difficulty finding jobs. Hopefully, that kind of skill, they could either go into business for themselves, or no one really cares if you have a felony or a police record. If my transmission is no longer working and you can rebuild it, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please let you be good at what you do so I don't have to come back and visit you again. So that's who I am. I'm also, wow, I keep forgetting all of, because I've done such, I'm trying to be in the community. I'm also the president of the Triboro United States Bowling Congress's Youth Bowling Association. I'm program director of the A Different Approach Intergenerational and Education Facilitation Bowling Clinic. A Different Approach, we're going to have some people from A Different Approach on the show, is intergenerational. Our youngest bowler right now is 4, and our oldest bowler is 79. We have the largest number of certified USBC Olympic coaches in one program in the world, because bowling offers more scholarships than all of the other sports: basketball, baseball, football, all of the other sports combined. Bowling offers more scholarships, so we'd like our community to reap the benefits of that. And they don't have to be professionals to do it, but they do have to have a skill level. Okay, so that's kind of who I am, and I'll probably remember other things because I'm also TBI. I've said that on BronxNet before. That's traumatic brain injured. So sometimes I forget what I'm saying when I'm saying it. So I ask people, remember what I was saying? Pay attention to what I'm saying so that you can tell me where I left off. Um, I want to have some fun with this. I know I'm seeming kind of serious right now, but it's 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 a broad Bronx is just has so many difficulties. We have wonderful things in the Bronx. So I'm not originally from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn, but when I went to Fordham, when I started Fordham my freshman year, I came to the Bronx and I just never left. And I always say the Bronx is the one borough that's on the mainland. We are not an island. We are on the mainland, and I really love the Bronx. So I've been here since 1971, and I'm not moving. And I would like to continue to do anything and everything that I can to make it better, not only in the Bronx, but in the city, but particularly in the Bronx, because it is the borough where people think of it and they think outlaws, crime, and it's not all about outlaws and crime. There are actually some loving, wonderful, involved people in our borough. So stay tuned, and what do I say? Thank you for choosing In My Shoes, because we choose to help you.
Yeah, MWAM got a message for you. Yeah. I've been less offended by the boxers or the sagging pants in our community. I got a song for you. Check it out. Here we go. Come on.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
It's the new style.
Come on, collect, talk to me.
Say, Mr. Harris, sagging jeans is an epidemic.
That's right.
One that I've never been a fan of. And I can't stand how these young men, they sagging, they dragging. Come on, pull your pants up. And I know us girls, we in the wrong for not putting these fellas on.
You got the power.
But I'm offended by boxers. And I think that we all should be. You feel me?
Help me.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Why?
It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Here we go.
We living in a world affected by an epidemic. Sagging jeans and sweatpants is how I'm living. Need to set the example to make the future right. So hear our message when we hit you with the chair. Right?
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up,
It's kind of catchy.
pull your pants up, pull your
Come on,
pants
slow
up.
with it.
It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
I know you heard your belt say. You know your belt was talking to you this morning. Said, come on, just take me with you. I just want to help you all day keep your pants up. I just want to throw myself around you and hang out with you all day long. But you know what? You didn't listen, so now we don't have to tell you this. Come on, say it.
Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It's the new style. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, pull your pants up. It'll make your mama proud.
Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm your host, Hilda Broady. My topic today is a different approach. Okay, there are several different entities in a different approach. We are part of the Triboro United States Bowling Congress's Youth Bowling Association. But the Different Approach program is an intergenerational educational facilitation and bowling clinic. Okay, in case you didn't know, bowling is the most popular sport in the world, even though people say that soccer is, bowling really is. Everybody bowls. It offers more scholarships than all the other sports put together. Okay. And fortunately, in the Bronx, you have the headquarters of Triboro USBC here so that the children can become involved at a very early age, as early as 5 years old, and goes up to the age of 21, and they can start winning scholarships at the age of 5. And I've had some of my children in my program win scholarships at the age of 5. So it's something that you should consider. Bowling centers are one of the safest places for our youth to be. We're afraid of the things that have been happening to our kids that are hanging out on the streets because there's no after school programs really. There's no youth programs that are viable. And bowling centers are full of people who work, who can expose our kids to the positive things that are going on in our city. Okay, now let's talk about the A Different Approach program. A Different Approach has been in existence since September of 1991. A Different Approach was named, the ADA was passed in July 26, 1990, and went into effect on July 26, 1991. So it wasn't by chance that I chose the name A Different Approach, because I knew that those letters, ADA, had meaning to a lot of people. Now, the A Different Approach program, we do not discriminate against anybody. It's an all-inclusive program. So we have had architects, teachers, accountants, sanitation people, police personnel, corrections personnel. I'm a voc rehab counselor. We've had voc rehab counselors. We've had secretaries. So that it's people having fun from all walks of life. Okay. In 1999, I merged the adult program with the youth program because people were always talking about what the kids should be doing, and we have to have programs for the kids, and the kid, okay, this is true. But most of the programs that are out there for our youth segregate the youth from the adults. The A Different Approach program captures the senior citizens. Like our oldest bowler at this point is 79. But we've had up to 80, 81. Unfortunately, they passed on and we missed them dearly. And then we've had youth as young as 3.5. Okay, because if they were a mature 3.5 and they have the passion to bowl, we're not going to turn them away because they're too young. We just work with them. Remember, A Different Approach has the largest number of certified USBC Olympic coaches in one program in the world. That's right, not in the country, in the world. Okay, so we are dedicated to making this sport viable for all of our inner city youth. And we work hard at it. We work hard at it. And my coaches are presently, most of the coaches are people who I coached when they were little kids, like 4, 5, 6, 7, and now they're adults. And they're giving back. So they're paying it forward, and they're wonderful models. Okay, I omitted to express the positive outcomes of people who bowl from childhood. I've been coaching bowling since 1988. And in that time, I've only had one child drop out of high school. And it was in his senior year, March of his senior year. And no matter what we said, he felt the commitment because he had gotten his girlfriend pregnant. And he felt the commitment. He had to go to work to support his child that was coming. And no matter what we said about, oh, you're going to end up working in fast food. You're going to need more money than what you're going to make there. So you're better off staying the 3 months and from high school and opening up more avenues for you with, well, be that as it may. He did not listen to us, and he's our only high school dropout. And we've only had one youth get arrested. And we reined him in and made sure he took himself to college and not to jail, because we believe that our youth should be paying tuition and not bail. That's just a commitment that we've made. We owe it to our kids to make sure they can see that they have choices, and those choices had better be positive. Their parents or even relatives, because some of them are not with their parents, enough to entrust them to us. Now, the other thing about people need to feel that their children are safe. Okay. Bowling now requires all coaches to be registered volunteers, which means we have all had background checks. So they know that we're not criminals, we're not crooks, we're not pedophiles, we're not going to hurt your children. But even before this was a requirement, if anybody ever came into any of the bowling centers where a different approach had been, because we started out in Gun Post and we moved over to Playdrome, and then we went to Fiesta, and we're now located at Van Ness Lanes on Bronxdale Avenue. You knew that if you dropped your child off, no, I was not going to leave until you picked your child up. And no one was going to harm your child. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a funny story. We had a kid, and we had him since he was like 6. You know, and his mother always dropped him off, and we never asked, where's his dad or anything. His mom dropped him off. And then one Saturday, this man came in and started talking to this kid. And I had a mother coach and just a parent and another coach and myself all converged on him. Who are you? Why are you near our kid? And you need to move away. And he was like, oh, wait, I'm his dad. And I'm, okay, well, you need to come to see an adult before you approach a child. We don't know you. And he subsequently went home and told his wife, we don't have to worry about him. Those women had murder in their eyes. And it wasn't that we had murder in our eyes. It was that he was not going to go anywhere with that child until we found out who he was. So that was before registered volunteers, because we're a nurturing organization. Okay, now Triboro, we try to I'm the president of Triboro as well. When bowling merged as it used to be separate entities. It used to be ABC, the American Bowling Congress, and WIBC, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and YABA, the Youth Bowlers Alliance. Bowling is going to be an Olympic sport, but in order for it to be an Olympic sport, it had to be one united organization with a governing body. So in 2006, a lot of the separate entities merged into one. But what happened with the Triboro is we went around the state to all the meetings, the merger meetings, and we asked, okay, if the YABA merges with the Adult Bowling Association, what's in it for the kids? And we went to Cortland, we went to Binghamton, we went to Syracuse, we went out in Long Island, we were in Brooklyn, and nobody could tell us what was in it for the kids. And we had dedicated quite a few years to the children. So we just want to know what are our children going to get, what are youth going to get, and since they couldn't tell us, you know what? We're going to start our own, and then we know what the kids are going to get. We're going to make sure that the kids get the most out of this sport because bowling is a sport. It's a fun sport, and a whole lot of people do it, but it is a sport. So that's how the Triboro came into existence, and we've been 8 years now. Wow, 8 years, and it's been kind of troublesome because a lot of the bowling centers in New York City have closed down. Okay, so we don't have Playdrome anymore. We don't have Fiesta anymore. Manhattan is dead end. There's hardly anything. Chelsea Piers, Brooklyn, they're closing down. Queens, they're closing down quite a few. So we don't have a lot of venues. We're looking toward trying to establish a bowling academy, the A Different Approach Bowling Academy in the Bronx. Okay, but we have to get some funding for that, and we're going to work on that. But our success rate is 99.99999%, and that should be something to get people to at least want to participate and be a part of something that is so positive. Because not only are our children graduating from high school, they're either going on to college or going to vocational training or going to work. Okay, so they're paying FICA, not bail, which doesn't hurt us any because we need people to pay into the Social Security system so that we, who are getting older, can have some checks coming in when we get old enough to collect the checks. Okay. Shooze came about because we didn't have a venue to really discuss what's going on with a lot of the circumstances that are in the city. And bowling is my passion, and I haven't been able to bowl myself for a few years because of some medical issues, but I have 2 new hips now, and I'm going to be bowling again. And we're going to hope that a whole lot of people come to join us and work in this positive aspect of life in the Bronx. Who would have thought that in the Bronx there's so many positive people who are dedicating their time, their energy. Okay, think about it. Certified Olympic coaches coaching your children at no cost to you except to pay for the lineage and to pay for the other expenses that go into bowling. Think about that. Okay, think about it. It's reasonable. It's more reasonable than a what did they say? Starbucks coffee or I don't know about that. But it's more reasonable than okay, I had a woman who smoked. And I said, well, I know that you're spending a lot of money on cigarettes. So maybe you should smoke less and pay for your child to gain access to all of these opportunities. Because Triboro offers 7 scholarships, 7 tournaments throughout the year, and a major scholarship tournament at the end of each season. They can compete. They can compete in the New York City Bowling Association scholarship tournaments also, because we've been invited to participate as well. So they have adult child tournaments, and it's also bowling also besides the scholarships and the camaraderie that builds with bowling. It's a family outing. I don't know how many of you have gone to bowling centers and just see how happy people are in the bowling center. You got the diehards who only are there to win. But I don't think anybody goes anywhere and wants to lose. But the bowlers are not sore losers. Okay, so next time I'm going to get you. It's also good for anger management. If you're angry, when I was working, I used to go lunchtime. They would make me so angry at the job, and you really can't scream and holler on the job if you want to maintain employment. So I always had my bowling equipment with me, and I'd go to the bowling center and throw a couple of games. And I'd put the faces of the people that really made me angry on the pins, and then I'd knock the pins down. So it's good for anger management. And if you have some kids that need a whole lot of energy, they need to work it off in a safe environment, and they can actually throw something and not be punished because they did it and knock down something and be rewarded for it, it's fine. VNS lanes is very special to me because it's not an electronic house. So you have to do pen and paper, you have to keep your own score, and this kind of helps the kids with their math. So it's we're not trying to be sneaky, but we're letting them learn the math, but it's part of the game. So it's not math, just math, it's a system. Okay, so we're trying to infuse education into all aspects of what we do, but in a fun way that's not forcing them to not like it because it's hard. Van Ness also has wooden lanes. Okay, so if you can bowl on wooden lanes, the synthetic lanes that are out there are less difficult. So the experiences that they're having at Van Ness in the Bronx, that enhances their skills when they go to White Plains, or when they go to Long Island, or when they go to Brooklyn, and it's kind of helpful for our kids to travel around, and we travel around and visit different cities, and know that you have something in common with somebody in that city. And that's what a different approach and Triboro bowling programs are about. And we're hoping that we have lots and lots of people, young and old, a different approach. We have, as I said, our youngest is 4 now, and our oldest is 79. So everybody in the middle. Oh, I didn't say this about the senior citizens. Senior citizens are in dire straits right now. Our seniors are. They have this new venue for senior citizens up in Yonkers, where they go to gamble. And a lot of our seniors, not everybody, but quite a few of our seniors are losing their life savings. Okay, gambling has become very difficult for our seniors. Atlantic City, they didn't go as frequently because of the distance. Mohegan Sun or Foxwood. Okay, but this place in Yonkers is just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and they're going up there and they're flushing their money in the toilet. Now, I'm not a gambler, and I'm not saying that gambling is not fun, but when it jeopardizes somebody's well-being, we have some difficulty with that prospect. So our seniors are in the bowling center. Our seniors are sharing their wisdom with our youth. Our seniors are helping to knock down the barriers that have been between the very young and our senior citizens. Because you think of Miss Jones and Miss Smith and Miss Susie and that's fine, but now you get to know the ins and outs of Miss Susie. And Miss Susie gets to impart the wisdom that she's acquired over the decades that she's been on earth to our youth. And it's not saving everybody, but it's empowering them. It's giving them a jump start on recognizing and respecting. If we can get the kids to respect them, we don't have to worry about them knocking a senior citizen in their head, because they're going to know that I was close with so many of them, and they're really people, and I'm going to make sure that I'm protecting them. We have to find ways to stop the violence in our city. This is our city, And this is one way that I found works. I mean, think about it. 1988, it's now 2014, and only one arrest. And he didn't go to jail. He went to school. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. And that's what we want to do. We want to send them to school, send them to work. And the other thing about bowling is you can start taking the training, the level 1 training, when you're 14 years old. Okay, so summer youth employment in the city has declined over the past couple of years. And you can be paid. They can be paid to be in a bowling center training little people. It's a win-win-win-win-win. Because the bowling center is earning money by renting the lanes. The youth is earning money because they're teaching. And the younger people are gaining knowledge. And who can fight that? Who can argue with that? Who can dispute that? Our kids need us. Our kids want us. And guess what? They do respect us. And they want to be there. I mean, I started coaching in 1988, as I said, but Saturday mornings. Every Saturday morning since the Smurfs were on, I would get up and go to the bowling center and work with the kids. You know, every Saturday morning from September until middle of May. And when I dared to want to say Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to go stay with my mom, or I'm going to go hang out with my... They said, well, Miss Kathy, because Hilda don't bowl, Kathy bowls. So what are we going to do? So I acquiesce, and I'd rather have them in the bowling center than out on the streets. So even Thanksgiving weekend, we're right there. We're right there, you know. We try to make it a little more fun that day, but we're really focused on developing the skills, but they need to have fun too, because no matter how much you develop a skill, if it's hard and rough and people are yelling, and I used to be a yelling coach. I've mellowed out. I get loud because it's loud in the bowling center, and you have to speak above the pins falling. But I'm not as firm as I was. But I'm more hands-on and let me show you and that kind of thing. But the good thing about our coaches is we have so many that we can match the personalities of the youth with the coach. So some people get along better. Everybody doesn't get along with everyone. Everybody respects everyone. But some people teach differently, and some children, and we know that children learn differently. And our coaches also coach the adults. So if you're an adult bowler and you'd like to improve your game, we're there. We're available. We're on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon. And we used to do like Wednesday night mixed doubles, Monday night foursomes, Tuesday nights in the summer, Scotch doubles, no tap. We've done it all, but basically now Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon, from the Saturday after Labor Day to the second week in May. And we do it, and we do it. And we're happy about it, and we'd like people to, even if you don't want to join, come and look and see the positive aspects of our community, because we're there to show our kids that life doesn't always have to be horrible. And you can have fun, and it doesn't have to cost 2 arms and 3 legs. Thank you. Thank you for hearing me. Please, God, give me back my wings. Dear Lord, it's been a real long time since you took my wings. Can I have them back now? I can't fly home without them, and I really want to come home. These creatures are mean. They treat each other with disdain, and I no longer feel I can remain without becoming insane. But I need my wings, Lord. I can't fly home without them, and I really want to come home. Please, God, give me back my wings. I want to soar above the horrors. I need to glide about the clouds, touch the stars to find a peace of mind that I have lost in this dreadful place. These people hurt one another, and do it in your name, Lord. Everything is not all right. I need my wings, Lord. I can't fly home without them, and I really want to come home. Please, God, give me back my wings. I can't take the killing, the destruction, the lying, cheating, and stealing. I've tried everything I know, and only a handful took heed. I've touched so many, and hardly any are willing to believe. So I want to pass the baton, because I just can't go on. But if you say no right now, please tell me how. What do I have to do to get them back? Because, dear Lord, it's been a real long time since you took my wings. Can I have them back now? I can't fly home without them. I really miss being with you, and I really, really, really want to come home. Please, God, give me back my wings.